Am I the asshole for taking my craft bag back after I was fired? I was recently fired from my live-in nanny job after a week, being told that they decided a live-in nanny just wasn't for them. They said it was nothing personal, it was all them. They gave me 2 hours to clean out my things. Before I started this job, I created a huge art kit for the kids with my own money. I bought paints, paper, crayons and coloring books. The kids and I used some of it, but I had more plans for the coming weeks. I decided to take the stuff we hadn't used for a future job. I left behind the colored in coloring books and used paints, but took the unopened things and the reusable tote I put them in. As I was leaving, the dad saw this and said the kids would be sad if I took that. I said it was property to use with the kids that I paid for. Later, when I was at my parents' and looking for a new job, the mom texted and said that was a shady thing to do. I didn't respond. My parents are torn. My mom says I was in the right, my dad says I should have just left it. Am I the asshole? ETA, yes, they should have given me more notice. They didn't. They gave me severance instead, which was an option in my contract. I was dumb and didn't know my rights. I do now.
Not the asshole. They fired you. That's a low blow on the dad's part to bring the kids into it. An asshole thing to do.
NTA, they fired you and gave you 2 hours notice to pack up and move. And then they got mad you took your art supplies with you. WTF. No, you're not the asshole here at all.
Not the asshole. They fired you after 1 week, then expected you to leave all the supplies you purchased yourself for them to use? They're the
Not the asshole. The dad could have paid you for it if he was so worried about his kids being sad. Good for you for not responding to the mom. She was out of line texting you about you taking your own things.
Not the asshole. Did your former employer offer to pay for it? If the answer is no, it was yours and you packed it up with the rest of your things. Not the asshole. If they want that stuff they can buy it themselves. Also, for future reference, I have a friend who has been a nanny for 25 plus years. Do not spend your own money on the kids. You will never get it back. They should provide you with a budget for supplies. You were there for a week. FFS. I really hope they paid you for your week. Not the asshole. As a mom, I say you did the right thing to take back the kit. You put it together, you paid for it from your own money. You were good enough to leave the in progress stuff. That mom is probably just annoyed that she now has to go buy supplies to keep the kids occupied, which she thought she'd get from you for free.
Not the asshole. You bought that with your own money. If the father was willing to buy it off you and you still refused, it'd be a different story.
Not the asshole. Teachers don't leave their own property at the end of the year. Nannies don't leave theirs at the end of the job. They can use the money they're saving on childcare to buy their own. Babysitters of the Babysitters Club always brought their kits with them. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You only took the unused things. If they meant that much to the kids, the parents can just go buy it themselves.
Not the asshole. That was your personal property.
Not the asshole. They fired you with no notice. No, it wasn't rude for you to take back your supplies. Nannies and sitters are in high demand now, due to COVID. I'm sure you'll find something better soon. Not the asshole. You could text the mum back saying you were so worried about her shady comment. You told your lawyer cousin the whole story, and they now need to expect a letter very shortly because you found out some very interesting things about employment law, especially terminations. Not the asshole. Your money and they let you go. You owe them nothing. But this makes me think of the post the other day where the husband decided he didn't like the nanny and wanted the wife to fire her but ended up doing it himself. Don't know why.
Not the asshole. It's like cleaning out your desk at an office job. You leave what your employers paid for. You take what you paid for.
Wow. Those people sound like the worst people on earth. There is no universe in which you are the R. If they wanted art supplies so bad, they can take themselves to the store and buy the stuff for their kids with the money they're saving by not employing a nanny. They are the asshole all the way. And giving you 2 hours to move. What if you didn't have a place to go? Jerks. Your dad is an asshole too. But you are 100% in the right and not the asshole. Edited to add. File a wage claim in your state if you haven't already. And I don't buy the line, a live-in nanny isn't for us. I'd lay money on that the husband has a wandering eye and the wife is uncomfortable.
Not the asshole. They are tools to use with the kids for your job that you paid for.
Not the asshole. These ones are the hardest, where an innocent party gets hurt. The parents let you go, and you need it for a future job. Really sucks for the kids unfortunately, but that's the way it is.
Not the asshole. They fired you from a live-in position and only gave you a 2-hour notice to leave, move out. That's what's shady. Taking your unused property that you paid for is not shady, it's sensible and obvious. Maybe your dad is just worried about the reference, but the kind of employers who pull a stunt like that aren't going to be much of a reference in the first place.
Fuck 'em. You have 2 hours to get your shit and leave. But not that, my kids want it. Fuck him and his wife.
Not the asshole. They gave you 2 hours to move from a live-in position to a new residence? That can't be legal. And you took something away that was yours, not theirs. How would that make you an asshole? The parents can buy art stuff for the kids. Period. Those kids and how upset, sad, whatever they are not your responsibility. Of course you should have taken the art stuff with you.
NTA, you paid for it, you take it with you, that's the way it goes. Not the asshole. We are new to being nanny employers and I told ours to give me a list of art supplies to buy and that I didn't want her to have to pay for them.
Not the asshole. Shady is evicting with 2 hours notice. Pretty sure that's illegal.
Fuck her. 2 hours notice is shady. Your money. Your stuff. Not the asshole and goodbye. The father of the children never offered to compensate you for it, did he? Do not let one single guilty thought cross your mind.
Not the asshole. The entitlement is staggering. Why do they think they deserve something they no longer pay someone to use with their child?
Not the asshole. It's called the sack because they would give you a sack to carry your tools home in.
Not the asshole, and it's incredibly manipulative of the dad to use his kids' feelings to manipulate you into leaving that stuff behind.
Not the asshole. I had an acquaintance that for a while back when her and her husband had decent jobs, that would keep au pairs around for a few weeks, get jealous because her husband is a serial cheater, and then kick them out on little notice. She always acted like it was okay because she helped them secure placement elsewhere before booting them, without thinking on the effects of the au pair or the kids. Your employers were unprofessional and it seems like you kept a lot cooler than I would have. Not the asshole. I did the same thing when I left my position as a preschool teacher at a school a couple of years ago. I bought hundreds of dollars worth of items for my class. Small table toys, art items, etc. And some of it was reimbursed by the school, but most wasn't. So I took everything that was mine when I was clearing out. My director wasn't happy about it, so I told her she could have it all as long as I was paid for all of it. Pulling out all those saved receipts was the best feeling when I saw her disappointed face. If you bought it, it belongs to you. If they wanted, offer to sell it to them. Include the receipts.
Not the asshole. Typical rich person bullshit.
NTA. It was a tool you created essentially to engage their children. It's fair that it leaves with you. If you worked an office job and got fired, you would take your belongings with you when you left. This is no different. If they wanted the craft bag, they should have offered to pay you for the entire bag. Expecting you to just leave it and making a huge to-do out of it is entitled BS. It probably tells you all you need to know about this couple. You should be thankful you didn't have to learn it after living and working there for months.
Not the asshole. That's like you bringing in a coffee maker to work. Then you get fired. Then they complain you took it. WTF. Just be glad you won't have to deal with these people. They obviously have boundary issues and I'm sure a lot of other bullshit would have come up later.
Not the asshole. Wow, this is significant other illegal where I live. You'd have been able to sue the pants off them, for free. Really sorry this happened to you.
Response to the mother. I only took items from the property that I owned and had paid for. I would have been more than happy to leave the arts and crafts items for the children, but no offer was made to reimburse me for them. If you would like to have them, the cost to me was insert dollar amount, and I can make these items available for collection upon payment. If you are happy with this arrangement, please confirm via text. It was a pleasure working with your family. Don't negotiate on price. Just say that doesn't work for me and then ghost. Polite and reasonable.
Not the asshole, they were yours. If the family wanted to keep that, you should have been compensated since you purchased it under the pretense of a long-term assignment.
Not the asshole, I might hire some workmen, fire them, then ask them to leave their tools, so that I can use them. Does that seem legit? She's a user and just wants free stuff.
Not the asshole, kid's mom is projecting on the shady thing. How incredibly entitled. Not the asshole. They wanted the supplies you paid for, then they may reimburse you for them. Simple.
Not the asshole. Ask your dad if he's going to pay to replace the stuff for your next gig. If he says, no, you have your answer, that he doesn't see nannying as a real job.
Not the asshole. As a former live-in nanny 10+ years, 5 families, I have one small suggestion: refer to the craft kit as your craft kit, even label it as such. This helps in instances of leaving, even planned mutual separation, but also in avoiding things like messes made without your supervision, things needed for a planned craft going missing and such. It's nice to have your own kit, as then you already have ideas. Sorry the family was so unprofessional. Unfortunately, some people don't seem to respect child caregivers even though they are entrusting you with their most precious asset. There are terrific families out there. Just remember, interviews are for both sides, especially with live-in.
Not the asshole in any way. The nerve of the father who tried to use guilt to get you to leave what was rightfully yours after they dismissed you with insufficient notice. Why would you leave it? You can use it in your next job. With luck, you'll find a better placement with better people.
Not the asshole. There was nothing shady about it. Is it possible that they didn't realize you had bought all the supplies? Maybe make that clear and offer to let them buy it off you so you can make a replacement bag for your next job.
Not the asshole. If they can afford a live-in nanny, they can afford some craft supplies for their children.
Coulda asked them to pay for it. Not the asshole. How is that shady? You paid for it. I think they're pretty shady for only giving you 2-hour notice.
Not the asshole. At no point did you mention the craft bag was a gift for the kids, so it's your property. Those parents are just sad they'll have to actually be parents instead of throwing a coloring book at them then going back to slacking off. Question. Why does your father think you should have left them?